Hey, welcome back to Views on Brews. Finally, after 5 weeks, I am back making videos. I'll give you a quick rundown. Basically, I have a new Huawei P30 phone with a really great camera on it. And of course, didn't I go and drop it and I broke the screen. It took me 5 weeks to get the screen fixed, which is an absolute nightmare. It involved 3 different screens and an outer casing. But finally we are back on and I am back making videos, which is exactly what I want to be doing. I got hold of these. I managed to get hold of these from Treaty City. So up next, we're going to do 2 in 1. And yeah, it's Treaty City beers, a New England IPA and a saison made with cucumbers. Up next, cheers. So welcome back to Views on Brews, and this is some interesting beer in front of me. New can design labels, or just new funkier labels, really bright, interesting and colourful labels. Although I do note on these cans there isn't a huge amount of detail, which is fine, which is absolutely fine, but I always love to know more than just the ingredients. I love to know the exact ingredients, but what they do, which is something I've always liked on the back of beer cans and bottles, is give you some sort of scale of what you can expect from that beer. I think that helps. I think that helps the consumer, especially if it's a person who's not really sure what they're getting themselves into. This Chillax to the max is a saison beer. It says cucumber saison on the side, water malt. Does have Styrian Goldings hops in it, which is interesting. Really nice low alpha acid hop. Good for, it's actually good for 2 things. Good for a bitter end, but you could also use it as an aroma hop for delicate sort of earthy flavours to it. But then the interesting addition is cucumber. This is not the first time I've had a cucumber saison. I've actually I would just go with this one. I've actually had a cucumber saison 4 or 5 years ago at my brother's stag do, which was one hell of a weekend. And that one, I remember not really falling in love with it. I found it more a novelty than anything. In the right situation, there's certain times I think certain beers are going to taste more enjoyable, or you're going to get more enjoyment out of the actual experience of drinking it. Perhaps having a cucumber saison at my brother's stag do was not the wisest of ideas. But anyway, we're going to give this one a lash now. So Treaty City is in Limerick in the Republic of Ireland. This one's lively, which is good. I like my saisons to have a nice carbonation to them. Saison, probably, actually this is not a bad glass for it because it's got enough room to climb up the sides of it. But it's nice to get a saison with a decent amount of carbonation. This one is absolutely crystal clear, just a touch darker than straw golden, with a bit of tiny bit of yellow sort of gold in there. Bubbles hanging up off the side of the beer. There's a reasonable medium amount of carbonation going on in there. Very light, soapy, soft bubbles on top. What does it say on this meter on the back of it? I don't know if you can see there, but I'll hold it up and see. As you can see, it gives a very low sort of impact profile to it. So 3.9% on the lower scale of stuff. But it says out of a scale of 5, malt 1, hops 1, body 1. That's interesting. Fruit 1 and colour 5. Well, I don't understand how you get colour 5 on this. I mean, what does colour mean, really? I mean, if it was going to be any sort of colour 5, I would have said it had to look green like cucumbers. Have a tinge of green in it. But I guess for clarity, I would give it a 5. It's absolutely fantastic. See straight through it. Head is like, head is really nice on this beer. But there's it says fruit 1. Is cucumber a fruit? I guess it is. We'll just say it is. But body, to have a very low body, that's interesting, because I kind of like beers to have some body to them. But I'm always telling my friends it's kind of nice to have a beer that isn't heavy as well. So if you're looking for a beer that to break things up, you've just had a nice 6.5% IPA, American IPA, full on hops, and you want someone to break it up, maybe a cucumber saison is your thing. Anyway, cheers, Launcher. I'm going to have that bash of this one. It's good to be back. I'm really annoyed that I couldn't make videos for the last 5 weeks. Sat here staring at my equipment, and now I'm back, so I'm going to do a couple of days. I'm sitting at home for the next 4 or 5 weeks on pandemic unemployment payment, so we're just going to drink up my payment. Cheers. Well, straight away, I should have took a whiff on the nose, but I didn't need to, because I got cucumber straight away on the nose. Very nice, fresh, just like splitting a cucumber in half straight away and then putting it straight to your nose. I got a really good vibe from the cucumber coming off of this, and it's really, really fresh and light. I like that aroma. It's kind of all you get. You get a very faint maltiness to this and a whole load of cucumber. Really, really nice. Hops in it, they're just a tiny bit of bitter in hops, just to balance out the flavour, and nothing much to say about those hops. They're just really nice, sit in the background. It's all about having fun with a cucumber in a saison. The saison character, the saison yeast, is as I would expect, and it's kind of nice that the saison yeast here is fairly delicate. It's not one of those heavy hitting hard saisons, you know, but I guess that's a lot down to the fact, maybe not, but it could be a lot down to the fact it's only 3.9%. Maybe that just doesn't hold a lot of the saison character, or maybe they were just careful with the character of the, you know, maybe they didn't elevate the temperature during fermentation too high. I'm not sure. Either way, it works for me. It's a bit of fun. I would certainly order a glass of this. 440 mils is the max that I would want to drink out of this. Cucumber saisons are just a bit of fun, and they shouldn't be taken too seriously. They're just a really interesting, fun way. Look, the can design is fun, cool as a cucumber. I would say they're a bit out on their body. There is enough body in this. It's 1 out of 5. I would say it's more like 2.5 out of 5. It's right down the middle kind of thing. Hops, there's a small bit of bitter in the background, and a very small amount of malt. You know what? That's not a bad beer, and I was a little bit skeptical on opening this up. Now, if you go and buy this beer, don't expect the earth from it. Just expect a bit of a fun, not gimmicky, just a bit of fun brewing. That's what we want from Brewers on Ireland. We want them to have, you know, have some serious beers and have some fun beers. Break it up and enjoy it. So, Treat C, well done on that one. I'm happy out about that. I'm going to sip on that. It's going to be a Marmite beer. Like, if you don't want a cucumber flavoured beer, don't buy it and then say it's shite, because to be honest, like, you knew what you were getting into when you bought it. Now, this, on the other hand, is a New England IPA. Also, decent amount of carbonation coming out of the can there. It looks like it's going to have a decent head on it, and it looks like it's going to be a nice clear. Interesting. No, there's a slight bit of haze to it, but it's still fairly clear, but there's a slight bit of haze to this, but nice thick dense head of foam on top of it. What is this beer? Making Shapes. It reminds me of Trouble Brewing's new brand. Making Shapes. It says on the back, the ingredients, again, it doesn't give too much. It actually doesn't even tell you what hops are in it this time, whereas the Cucumber Saison one told me it was S. Goldings, which is Styrian Goldings. This one just says the four ingredients. which is a shame. I really love to know what's in the can. Anyway, on the malt, the beer meter on the back, it says 2 for malt, 2 out of 5 for malt, 5 out of 5 for hops, 1 out of 5 for body. That shouldn't be like that. It's 4% beer, so it is on the lower end. Fruit, 3. I think when they say fruit, because they said fruit on the other one as well, I think what they mean is the perception of fruit. You know, there's no fruit in this at all. So so they're talking about aromas, really. And colour 2. Well, if this is a colour 2 and this is a colour 5, I don't understand that at all. But who cares? It's up to them what they put on it. I wouldn't have done that. I don't think it's spot on, to be honest with you. It doesn't really make any sense. It might make sense to the people that knew what they were talking about when they put it on the back of the can, but it doesn't make any sense to the consumer, who is me sitting here wondering why this one says it's got 5 out of 5 for 5 colour, and this has 2 colour. I mean, what does it even mean? Anyway, but it doesn't matter. Let's see what the beer is like. I got some aroma before I even put my nose to it. Beautiful, nice sweetness, caramel going on in there, and nice tropical hops going in to back it up. So 4% on the lower end, pretty much the lowest of the lowest end, really, for a New England IPA. Making shapes. Anyway, cheers, Slancha. As I said, it is absolutely fantastic to be back. I'm going to make loads more videos now. I've even got a couple that are still unedited from before my phone broke, still on the phone. So I'll get those edited up as well. And then I've got a whole couple of crates filled with beer that just needs all just checking out. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I've got a whole bunch of time on my hands, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, let's give this one a little look-see. Yeah, nice hazy complexion, not overly hazy. Low to medium carbonation and a nice thick dense head of white foam. Not hugely dense, it is only 4%. It says the body on this is 1 out of 5. It certainly isn't 1 out of 5. It's around about 2.5 out of 5, pretty much the same as the cucumber saison. Perception of body is a bit higher because there's bitterness in this. Anytime you have bitterness in a beer, you perceive it as body as well, because it just fills you up more. The aromas on this beer. It's a New England IPA. Should it be bitter? We'll get back to that. Yeah, nice tropical sort of fruity aromas going on there. Bit of malt caramel sweetness or something there as well, kind of like a base malt sweetness. Very nice, very enjoyable on the nose. Great head, nice looking beer. Nice tropical fruitiness to it, perhaps a little bit of pineapple, but more the bitterness from pineapple than the sweetness, but that's okay because there's plenty of other sort of tropical types of fruits going on it. Did I see it say something about no, it really doesn't give any other information than that. That's the can there. That's the back bit there, the meter, and then the only other bit on the can is this one here. So it's limited in what it's telling you. I wonder, are these just one-offs, or the brewery's just playing about? We are in the middle of a pandemic, you know, breweries are struggling. I'm wondering, are these beers they just got back after the first pandemic? Maybe, I don't know, can't say for sure, but maybe they just got back and said, hey, I want to get brewing some beer, and they said, let's go and make some beers. And they've come up with I've got 2 others in this range as well, and I've not seen these style cans, so maybe, oops, I'm hitting the mic, maybe, just maybe, it's they're just experimenting and happy to be back brewing. Anyway, cheers, Treaty City. I think this beer is It's a tame New England IPA, but it has bitterness to it. So does bitterness belong in a New England IPA? It's supposed to be juicy. It's supposed to be full on juice and tropical fruit. I would say, I'm not sure if this is the first time they've made that batch, but if it was me, I'd probably put less hops in. I don't know if they put them in the beginning, but it feels like there's definitely bitterness going on in this beer. It's a low ABV beer. When you make a low ABV beer, you're going to perceive the hop bitterness a lot more so than you would a 6% beer. You can pretty much half the bitterness that you were going to get from late edition hops anyway. Maybe these were added all in the last 10 minutes, but there's definitely bitterness going on in this beer. Maybe it would have been better to add any of those hops that they did in the Boyle or late edition or the Whirlpool edition. Just add them in as a dry hop and just go with low bitterness hops. Anyway, nothing wrong with either of these two beers. One's fun. The other one is you can drink it in huge amounts. You can drink them both in huge amounts. 3.9% for the Cucumber Saison, 4% for a New England IPA, which is on the lowish side. But they're both perfectly fine beers. They're fun beers. There's thinking beers, drinking beers, and there's just there's a sort of a bracket of beers that I would say they don't ask too much of you, and they probably wouldn't hurt your pocket too much either. Those beers are absolutely fine by me, and these are probably two of them. Highly enjoyable, and we're going to get 2 more of those Treaty Cities. I might even do it tomorrow, and I'll throw it back up onto the YouTube. And if you're seeing this video, do me a big, huge, solid favor and share it on. I'm trying to get to 200 likes by December 31st. Highly unlikely. 200 subscribers. Highly unlikely, but we'll give it a go. Anyway, cheers. It's good to be back. Sláinte, and it's on to the next one. And then